Welcome back, friends. It has been a while, several weeks, I think. Doesn't mean I haven't been busy. I have, in fact, been working on several things, all game related. The main thing I've been doing is actually practicing more pixel art, or actually working on my first actual Game Boy game. I learned quite a lot since I started out. I've been practicing for, I think, almost every day. Actually, I was able to produce some assets already. So I'm gonna keep doing that, but it's gonna be off stream because I still have a lot of stuff to learn. And, you know, I have to, I do watch a lot of pixel art related movies or, you know, info sessions on YouTube, and it really helps me, but, you know, there's still a lot to learn when it comes to certain techniques. And it's not the most interesting thing to stream because, you know, you just would watch me watch somebody else do a tutorial about pixel art, and it's not the most interesting thing. So once I do get to that point where let's say it feels natural, I can, you know, come up with things faster, then I think it's the right moment to actually stream development. But that doesn't mean I'm neglecting my other projects which I have going. So today is going to be a level design session for Doom 2 Annie. I have been doing a little bit of extra work on and off. I can't even remember what is actually new in this specific map since my last stream, that is. It doesn't really matter. The thing I'm actually doing is finalizing the map, and then one of the final parts, layout wise, is actually use some sector portals to create this very nice, you know, sky and architecture in the sky. So it's actually pretty close to completion, you know, aside from monster placement, entities, stuff like that. So let's just jump in and work on a few areas, add some extra detail. So hopefully we can release it this year. And I'm actually, now I can show you by the end of the stream a little bit of the work I've been doing for my Game Boy game, so you can see all the assets I have made so far. But that's something for later. Let's jump in and work a little bit on detailing this map. I'm probably gonna focus on like this area right here, this one, and a bit of this, and just gradually work my way around the map. You know, detail where needed. This is actually something I believe I've worked on last, which actually turned out quite well, I must say. I add a little bit of extra detail here, nothing special, you know, just some pipes, some stuff to break up these walls. Nothing too special, but that's fine. It is actually just, you know, a hallway, so. All right. Let's see, I think this is actually pretty detailed already. I don't think anything else is required here. So we're gonna leave it like that and continue on through this area where we can actually create some ceiling detail, because this is pretty bare bones as it is now. I feel like the grid texture, and by that I mean this one, is actually very good for large fillers. As you can see, there's detail enough in the texture itself to make it less monotonous. So I'm a huge fan of those textures. Because it makes my work easier and faster. Molotov, what is up, buddy? Good to see you. Welcome. It's been a while. How are you doing? Any special plans for this Saturday? Like I said, by the end of the stream, I'm gonna show you what I've been working on offline concerning my Game Boy game. I did a bunch of assets, pixel art. It's actually, I never, in my career so far, when it comes to anything game development related, I have delved into the world of pixel art. Maybe a little bit, when I was working on the assets of Core Decay, that was texturing here and there on a pixel level, especially when it comes to details and highlighting, shadowing. That was actually on a pixel art level. Yeah. Okay, a bit tired. Well, sit back and relax. I'm not gonna ask anything of you. No assets or music or whatever needed for now. What have you been up to? Anything special? Oh, is this really? This looks so... like there's a lot of space between this. That's kind of weird. I feel like this would look better. Huh? A little more. Oh, that is weird. Well, let's leave it for now. Okay, so the area that we're gonna work on is this one, and maybe extend it a little bit. I have something in mind. I'm just gonna... well, yeah, that's fun. I kind of have these episodes as well, where I feel little need to actually build stuff and just enjoy the games. I've been actually playing a lot of The Witcher 3, which is, of course, a great game. But for me, these games take a long time to complete because I only get to, to enjoy them for a short amount of time. Like maybe I don't know, 3 hours a week max. The rest of the time I'm actually working on projects, so. But it's, it's a fun game. Like, if there's a lot of lore and there's a lot of mechanics involved that you need to learn. Yeah, there's an update. Indeed, I'm actually updating it right now. So I'm not really sure what the update is about. But, oh, me too. The connection is really slow. Like the download speed, it's insane. Yeah, so weird. It must be something Steam related then. But like The Witcher, I was kind of struggling a bit in the beginning of the game because there's a lot of stuff that's getting thrown at you. And when it comes to fighting mechanics and remembering how to select the potions and the bombs and whatever, that is it's good when you play it every day, you memorize it. But the next time I jump into The Witcher 3, I forgot half of the combinations or where I find what. It's crazy. So that's why I usually stick to fairly more simple games, because I just don't have the time to, Battle Royale for me, it's off the table. I just don't have the time to get good at it. Same with Dark Souls. That's always when I jump back into the game, I tried, I've been playing a little bit of Dark Souls, but I like I only have like my time is very limited that I can invest in Dark Souls, so I kind of forget about like the enemy movement, and I have to relearn it every time, so that's very frustrating. I can't like progress in the same amount of like speed that I want to. Kingdom Come Blues. Oh, I know. Yeah, the title does sound familiar. Just haven't played it yet. And there are a ton of games I haven't played yet, so. Alright. Let's see, something like that. Oh, I gotta check it out. Maybe actually extend this. Let's see. Gradient light. Hey, Morpher, what is up, buddy? Oh yeah, okay, my Crisis Engine. Okay. Gradient light. No, actually, it is. It's sealing, like shadowing, right? Because if I increase the height, let me show you, then the lighting just travels along with it, you know. So it looks, it's actually a downside of this lighting technique, that if you have height differences, that it shows on the walls. But you know, it kind of makes sense, but sometimes it doesn't look too good. Like here, for example, it's less noticeable. I don't know if it has to do with texture alignment or... Here's more subtle. This is actually what I would prefer. But it's probably because I changed this architecture. It's like floor glow. It's actually sealing. You know, let me show you. This is actually the value. Oh, son of a bitch! Not again. The screen is like the window I need is off screen. Just a second. So I kind of need to bring it back in. I don't know why. It's a Doom Builder thing, I guess. Alright, so I need to drag it over here. Right. Now I'm gonna... When the first time it happened to me, I had no clue what was actually going on, and I spent a lot of time trying to figure out where the hell my window was. See, that's like... but I need it anyway, so... colors, so you can see here, ceiling and upper wall, I gave this a darker color, which actually is like the opposite of lighting, obviously. But I use this actually throughout the level because, like, see this for example, right? This is the darkest color, so totally black. But in the editor, it looks weird, right? The contrast is too high, but if you look at it in game, it's okay. In game, the lighting is better, which makes sense, you know, because it's different. This shit again. Right. Thanks, Morpher. Putting me in a lot of trouble here. Oh, but it's an easy fix. I just don't know what the problem is with it says it doesn't or overwrite something, and then when I just reload the map, it's I have to reload. Sometimes I have to reload it a couple of times. It's, it's so weird. I have no clue. Yeah, it's a Doom 64 style, indeed. Indeed, that is a fact. After a couple of tries, it should work. Son of a bitch, okay. Then what would help is I just exit. You know, it's easy to use this. I use it all out throughout episode 2, mostly I think. I'm probably gonna need to fine tune. You think so? I think it needs to load like. See, now it works. I don't know what the hell. But if you look at the ceiling now, see, it's a lot better. Like this gives like the idea of like an infinite height, but it's actually just pretty low, as you can see with the bullet puffs. But I kind of like this. It's an easy way to solve that issue, where you don't have to extend to like a very high. And as you can see, it creates this nice shade in the corners as well, right here. See, it does a good job. Here as well. You know, it gives that. Like here, I use it as well. See, like the total black. I think it's great. It works great. While I'm at it, let me actually show you what I've been doing. I worked on this area right here. This is actually the starting map. Or starting area. With a little bit of, I'm not really sure if I streamed this actually. While working on this, I think I worked offline, mostly. Sector portals are still, you know, I still need to find something like an industrial complex. Yeah, the lighting, it's like I said, it's easy. It's easy. And here, like you can see, I added some light here, just a little bit to kind of indicate that the light is coming from the sky. It's super easy to add lighting. Here, for example, you know, it's also gradual, like a gradient downwards. But yeah, it works. Here, did the same here. I think these are dynamic lights. Yeah, so Doom 64 lighting is actually very great. Can you imagine I forgot what I was actually doing? Oh yeah, I was working on this. Okay, so let's try. Find these. These work fairly well. These textures, I mean. Especially for this construction. There we go. Alright. See? I think it looks nice. And you just add a small light there. There we go. Bam. Hey Pinchy, what is up, buddy? Welcome. How are you doing on this fine Saturday? I know it's been a while, but I'm, like I said, I've been working on my very own Game Boy game, and I'm currently doing pixel art, creating, like, getting some inspiration for the environment. See what I use here. Hey Molotov, what is up, buddy? Well, all the regulars are here. That's awesome. Okay, same thing, it seems. That's good. Oh wait, Jesus Christ. Hello again. Oh god, my memory. I turned 38 a few days ago, and my memory is, I'm afraid for the future. You know, my memory is already this bad, so I don't want to know what happens if I'm 50. Make some nice lights here. Jesus Christ. Well, I do feel like it's hard to actually sometimes to do both at the same time, like mapping and talking. Indeed, it's like my mind has to be focused on this as well, and while I try to read the comments, it's pretty difficult. I feel like this should probably be something like this. I don't like the. Can we actually? That's not good. I think I need something more subtle. think. There's not... this one maybe. One, and then extend it a little bit. Son of a bitch. Yeah, like that. I guess. Alright, let's see. Let's use this light color. This actually works surprisingly well. No, close enough. Maybe one more. See if we can actually one. Not too bad. Well, let's keep it for now. Though maybe a smaller variant look a little better. There we go. Okay. Now for the ceiling. Could create a sector portal. And that is something I really don't like, detailing ceilings. I already use this for the floor, too bad. What I can do actually. Is there a liquid? For a change in non-damaging liquid? I don't think we have that in Doom 3. Can we use this one? Would it be too weird if I use this? It does make the floor look more detailed without having to put in too much effort. Does it look? I don't know. Well, it might, because this is like something that you normally don't really. Yeah, but the bump maps are not really, they're actually... Ah, I see. I know. You could, but... Then I would probably have to overhaul like all the maps I made so far with this texture pack, because it gives a new dimension to it. Right. But this one, you know, this is where the player is normally not supposed to come or walk on. So I think I can get away with it. If I actually make these sort of like a warning stripe, maybe? Let's try. So you shouldn't really step on these pipes. No? Hey, what is up? Oh, gem. $600 and 600 euros in prizes. Wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I kind of figured this would happen. And you created like a texture set, huh? Okay. All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Fortunately, I probably pattern editor. That's pretty cool. All right. To create texture patterns, that's pretty interesting. Oh, looks nice. Wow. Okay. Collaboration map, now that might be interesting. Okay. It's a pretty cool initiative. Unfortunately, I have to pass. Because I can't take any more projects. This is kind of weird. How is this? This, yeah. Weird. Weird. But I think it actually looks good. It's probably just this curve is so weird for some reason. Yeah. How did it pay? They would just go like this, but the thing is there's like this grid connected, so I can't rotate it. This is how it has to. You know, if I have to follow this whole pattern, there's no other way I can do. I can't flip it or anything. Maybe? Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. No, that has to be 2. Maybe this is mine. Ah, wait. -2? Now you get this, but actually... -2. And then you can have somewhat of a, you know, it looks a little better, no? Two, I just need to get all of these 2, scale 2, that one, okay. All right, I think that I'll keep it at that. Actually solve the problem without having to, only this one. This is something I have to do manually. Oh, and already, it's actually good. Imagine that. Okay, so that means for the ceiling, we can play around a little bit. These are all inwards. No, they're not. I know it's cheap to kind of use this technique a lot, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna give the pattern editor a try. Maybe there are other applications for it as well, like for pixel art maybe? Maybe I can even make use of it for my own game. Who knows? It's always good stuff. Good, you know. I kind of like this one as well. Probably a little less rusty variant. Yeah, I think this one looks actually nice. Doom 3 texture pack definitely needs more generic textures, I keep saying it. It's like This could serve as some sort of metal. Yeah, I actually had this crazy idea of slowly working towards setting up my own game studio, but for like real, like small games, right? And I actually wanted to start out with actually making the first, like a Game Boy, like playable on the actual hardware. Like these small scale, you know, small scale projects, like for maybe Game Boy NES, very, very early PC. I think it's, you know, I kind of always wanted to do stuff like completely from scratch instead of relying on existing assets, so to speak. And I want to keep it small because I don't want to, like, you know, my time, I have a full-time job, so my time is limited when it comes to that. But I'm gonna, well, actually I can't go over it right now real quick. Let's jump onto Steam real quick. Yeah. See, this is what I made. Like the gray. This fella is actually a placeholder for me to get a sense of scale. So this is actually what I made so far. All is done from scratch. So yeah, you kind of trying to create assets. Like it's been very, very fun to learn. I kind of need to work on this. Last thing I was doing is actually trying to make a curve. Oh, you can't see it. Hold on, like this. There we go. Like this curve. I still kind of gotta find the right shape to round it off, and there has to be like something changing lightning as well. This is what everything I built so far. So it's actually going to be like a side scroller, obviously. Kind of loosely inspired by Castlevania. I can't, you know, spill too many details yet. But it's been fun. Like, you know, I do, like, I feel like I can actually create like a piece. Each session I actually do pixel art, so it's fun. I feel like, you know, I can make some good progress on this. It's not like I've been working for hours and then have to, you know, start from scratch. It actually, I can actually do something with these assets. I'm trying to kind of create like, sort of like, yeah, I know, absolutely. I kind of want to create like a Castlevania type of game, but then set in like more like a steampunk age. But you know, I'm gonna work on a let's say like a playable build before I actually do my official announcement, which is gonna take some time. But I feel like I've actually learned, if you consider the time I've been spending on pixel art, I feel like I learned actually, well, I made this so far, so it's not too bad. It's very interesting working with such a limited color palette. Very fun. Yeah. I mean, I feel like this is like controllable, If you have to make changes, you can fiddle around, and eventually you find something that actually works. If you use too many colors, it's a lot harder because you have to constantly adjust. But here, it is limited. So downside is that sometimes you have to be very, very creative with those 4 colors. Like if you want to represent something, like one of the issues I had, or what was the most difficult, I think, was this meter here, this pressure meter. I kind of want it to look like glass. There's a glass, and you can easily do that if you look at this. Just draw some sprites. Like if you zoom in, you can't make anything of it, right? And that's the beauty about pixel art. Like this, I think this is the normal size when it comes to Game Boy games. Zoomed in from there, and there you can actually you can see it's a meter, and you can see the reflection in the glass. So that is pretty amazing about pixel art. Like you can leave a lot to the imagination of the player, right? And the brain will kind of fill in these details that you don't include. But that means you have to have a good base shape, right? I think the biggest challenge will be animation. So we're not there yet, but I can use this Castlevania placeholder to at least build the foundation, the base of the game, and to actually work on the levels. And I can worry about the player sprite later. It's not really a necessity right now. And I just continue to try to develop my skills, and hopefully we eventually come to the point where I actually am getting to a level, where I can animate properly. But that is something I still have to learn. One thing I did learn was that for animation, you probably you should get a good base shape and do the animation first, and then color in the sprites. So we'll see. Yeah, I did actually light. I have. It's very interesting. There are a couple of very good channels which explain kind of like, but I feel like most tutorials are for, when it comes to shading specifically, most tutorials are more for like pixel art with more colors, because they're like this, you have this like hue and saturation to play around with like light and shadow, instead of just having like a color variant. It's pretty great. Like it makes sense and it looks good. But for Game Boy games, which actually uses these 4 base colors, I feel like I can take inspiration from those other tutorials. But what I would really like is a tutorial like how to play around with these 4 colors, or 4 other colors. Now, it doesn't matter, like 4 color palette. That is something I would be interested in, because you have to make certain sacrifices when you use fewer colors, and there are some techniques. Like I can study like Game Boy games and see how they achieved certain looks, or how they build certain characters or like surroundings. Like you can use like dithering, which actually is great if you know how to properly use it. And there are some interesting patterns you can create. Like there's even with like 1-bit color, like 2 colors, you know. Oh. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know, because like with the bouncing and everything, like the light, it bounces off certain surfaces and reflects, and I've seen that, like this color theory or lighting and shading theory. It's interesting. But you know, for a Game Boy game, it doesn't have to be super realistic. I mean, there's like it's on such a small scale. Like here, if you were to look at this, I mean, it almost feels like these pixels are placed randomly. But if you zoom out, like, it makes total sense, right? You can actually see this shape. You can see the weapon. This is pretty, like the shadow on his robe. Okay. Yeah, I do remember the name. Yeah, I came across it. I think, you know, Pixel Pete. It's actually very good. A very good pixel artist as well, and he does some breakdowns on other people's work and try to improve it. It's actually very cool. Let me post a link should you not know him. That's pretty great. See, I've already watched a few of them, and like, he knows what he's doing, right? Like, he posted a lot of a lot of videos about pixel art, and that's great. He has this like clear explanation as well. It makes sense. And he kind of explains, like, people can actually send in their work, and he tries to. There's a playlist. Let me show you, for example. He actually has some tutorials about Game Boy Studio as well, which is great. Pixel art critiques. Here we go. So this is pretty cool.
Welcome back.
Got these great intros.
It's pretty cool that some of you improved an old sprite, and I retweeted it last time on Pixel Pete.
And I kind of want to do an episode.
Okay, so this is pretty good. The only critique that I would have is that everything is a similar color. You don't have hard edges, and it also looks like you're anti-aliasing too much. In case you guys don't know what anti-aliasing is, here's a line without anti-aliasing, here's a line with anti-aliasing. It makes it look elements that are near the edge. This piece of artwork is a lot bigger, so this one pixel size is actually not the size of this square, if you're wondering what the heck's going on. So anyway, yeah, so like right here at the top, since this is protruding out, it's okay to, you know, add a couple of pixels here near the edge, because it will emphasize that this veiny looking thing on this pipe or whatever it is actually protruding. So what I would do is I would add a black outline at, you know, just near the edge, not everywhere, not all over. Also right here, if you have a dark edge, it really creates a separation of depth. So for example, this hole right here, it's a lot deeper than,
I don't know if it's a nice penis.
Or whatever it is.
I think you should see a doctor maybe.
Black outline here.
But you know, yeah. So that is one actually. I don't know. Maybe slam the door against it. I don't know. But like, he has this clear explanation as to why he makes certain choices, and it makes sense. You know, so I find it very helpful, and it's a great learning experience. Well, you know, you shouldn't run around naked all the time. But I feel like I learned a lot from him. There we go. See, this kind of solves the problem. And I think with some, if we add some lights here. This will help, you know, this will eliminate the need for extra sector detail. I'm not sure if that's like the least painful way. I guess if you slam it hard enough, you kind of get sedated. Well, yeah, I'm doing good actually. The name is actually changing because I kind of want to delve a little more into pixel art. And go forward from there. I will do some, you know, in the future, but that is a more distant future. Kind of want to focus on making my own games. Like the thing you just saw. I don't know if you, how long you're in the stream, but I'm working on my own Game Boy game. And that is something I kind of want to make these low scale games, or small scale games in the future. But I still want to do like these projects, like do some mapping projects in between. But I think it's fun to do some, you know, game development from scratch. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Like for the pixel art, you know, I've been practicing. It's not the most interesting thing watching me practice to stream. That's why I've been mostly doing it offline. There we go. I think this will actually help. But just, you know, once this project is finished, I do programming. It's an assembly, right? You have to, like the very basic of computer programming. But there is this app or this program called Game Boy Studio, which is actually a very visual representation, and it makes it a lot easier. To kind of, you know, do the stuff you want without. I mean, I have like a very limited program knowledge, but it's more like Game Boy Studio allows you to, you know, create the script, which then gets converted to like the actual base language, which is used in like the Game Boy. So it gets converted into an actual Game Boy game, which you can play on the original hardware. It looks like it is a major pain in the ass because it is assembly. It's like, it's the core. It's like, I've seen some stuff about how the original games of the Game Boy, how they did it, and it works with memory slots, and you have to take something out and put it there, and it's insane. It's insane. I think this actually looks very good. So I'm gonna leave it like this, so this area, at least this part, is considered as finished. Okay, it's good enough. There we go. Put some items there maybe, we'll see. Alright, so this ceiling is next. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. I've seen like a documentary about it, and I kind of understand like how it works. But the thing is, you know, there's a difference between, you know, watching an explanation and then just jumping in and do it yourself. Especially, you know, well, actually I can show you real quick Game Boy Studio. Where did I place it? There we go. So you can see, this is like the very base. You have this, each of these screens you can see on the right here. You have actors, music, speed, you know, and then you get like, it's all scripted. You can actually, you can have triggers, actions, stuff like that. It's something I mean, I'm just building like the basic blocks to actually create like a first level. But they even have parallax backgrounds, which is great. Like no Game Boy had it. At least, yeah, maybe. Well, wait a minute. Don't want to go too fast by saying that. Not really sure, but I can't remember a Game Boy game which had parallax backgrounds. I could be wrong. Like probably there are games which actually use it back then already. But this is something new in Game Boy Studio at least. And up until recently, you were allowed to create characters in a 16:16 frame. Something like that, yeah. But now they actually added like a sprite sheet of a player, so you can't really remember what the what the correct name is, but you can actually create different. You can create greater sprites, like this elephant, for example. It's not 16:16, but you can actually assemble it, the sprite and the animation separately. So that's pretty cool. So you have this. This is like for the background, the parallax example. You can choose layers, right? And you can choose the speed. I mean, it's very simple. Like there's no programming knowledge needed whatsoever for this. It's basically just clicking. You know, like obviously the possibilities are more limited than you would freely program it. But I feel like for a Game Boy game, I mean, there's enough choice, because it all comes down for Game Boys. Like, you know, you can have some gameplay. The gameplay is not infinite for a Game Boy game. You know, you have to take like the limitations of the console, of the handheld. You have to take that into account as well. So like, it's not, you know, like your possibilities are endless when it comes to creating Game Boy games, but I feel like, you know, it's you have to look at the game as a whole, like everything, like the music, the artwork, you know, when it comes together. I think it's very cool. There are some publishers who actually they actually make like the cartridges like in the good old days, like original. You got the packaging, you got the manual, high quality. You got the actual cartridge, which you can actually put into a Game Boy. It's insane. there are some publishers who actually do that, and I hope to eventually, get it published. But we're still a long way off, obviously. But it's great that the homebrew scene, as they call it, is still very much alive. Like it's good to see like this console is so old, and it's still like a very active and lively scene. Got a bunch of crazy collectors too. Actually, let me pull up one. This one is a publisher specific for Game Boy. So you can see like it's all very, very high quality. Like, okay, the price is, but it's, for a Game Boy game, you would argue it's way too high, but you have to take into account this is not mass production, right? So there are some costs involved, and it's more for like to support the creator. But if you look at this is all, it's very, very good quality. You got like the entire case, like very detailed and very high quality printed instruction book. They put in some stickers, stuff like that. So that's pretty. You got some limited editions as well. Like here, for example. Oh wait, does this have a limited edition? I'm not really sure. I think this one does have a limited edition. But it's great. Like this is very much alive. And there's still I was up until recently I was totally unaware of this. So hopefully that is kind of what I want to work towards is getting a game published. Perhaps by them, I'm not really sure. Hopefully it works. But I still, I have to like get an alpha build out before I even announce it. I kind of want to have something, at least even barely, but playable at least. It's kind of like a vertical slice, something like that, And that is what I'm working on at the moment. One other challenge is going to be music and sound. That is, I know Game Boy Studio has an integrated music creator. It's pretty cool. Now I don't know anything about music. I have no musical background or whatever. So that's going to be a challenge. Probably it has to be like a collaboration maybe. Because from what I understand is that 8-bit games or Incubate games, they kind of, if they see potential in your game, they sometimes offer to sponsor you. So it could be like a collaboration with a music artist to create music for the game. I don't know. It's still, of course, very far off. So I don't want to get ahead of things, but it's nice to kind of dream about it, and think about, one of the possibilities. But it's just, it would be fun to actually own like a physical copy of the game you made from scratch. I think that's always with Core Decay was, I hope it can actually grab a physical copy, because I feel like it's, it's like a trophy. Like I managed from just being a Doom mapper to eventually working on a professional title, and then from that going to actually creating my own game. So that would be like a cool life cycle, I think, when it comes to game dev. Publishing. Yeah. You know, on the Core Decay front, there have been some insane updates still under wraps, but they will be like, you know, they will be teased in time. But I can tell you, you wouldn't recognize it anymore, almost, how it was in the beginning and how it looks now. It's like there are so many assets being created, and it's on a whole new level. It's beautiful. Unfortunately, I cannot show you more. So you have to wait till 3D Realms decide to, you know, publish something. But yeah, it's looking great. Great. It's a bit of a shame that I am no longer, at the moment at least, involved in the further creation of Core Decay. But you know, I'm glad that I was able to work on that title and at least pushed like a few assets in there. That is for me, like, you know, it's a nice achievement for me, I think, especially since I started from nothing. Like, I had zero experience in professional game design. I didn't know anything about modeling up until I started working on Core Decay. So yeah, I know. They do take their time. That is a fact. If I were, you know, in their place, I would probably focus on fewer titles, but really put everybody to work on it. Fewer titles and more people to actually get them out, you know. Because they're working on several, like a lot of titles. That means you have to pull people away from certain projects and use them somewhere else. And I mean, when it comes to, you know, the rate at which you create games obviously slows down. It's only natural. But it's a choice. Can't really interfere with that. But I do hope, like, I really want to see Wrath and Graven finished, because those games had a lot of potential and they look great. I can't wait. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna end the stream here. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna try to jump on tomorrow a little bit if I can. I'm not really sure if I can make it, but if I can, I will be here. Maybe we continue with Heretic, my Heretic map, which also has to be finished. I show you real quick where I ended. It's kind of funny because I posted like a screenshot of this map. So I created this 3D bridge. All right, I added this part right here. There's going to be some sector portals as well. I created this. It's still, you know, I still have to finish it. It's kind of because I posted like a screenshot of this on Twitter, and one thing I said was that I was working on a mod for Raven Software's Heretic, and Raven Software actually, the official account actually responded. They just had these like symbol of eyes and fire behind it, and like the views exploded. It was insane. And there were people complaining about Call of Duty in the comments, but it's insane. Like I would have anything to do with Call of Duty. It's crazy. People don't read, you know. Many people don't read. Like this has nothing to do with Call of Duty, obviously, but I still feel like they have to complain about it. It's crazy. But yeah, sometimes it's kind of weird how things go. It didn't produce any great like a huge amount of followers because this is like a very old title, and the people following Raven Software right now is probably like a different audience than you had back then. So I kind of expected that. I was confident that like my account wasn't going to explode all of a sudden because it's like a different company, right? Unfortunately. But it was fun to watch anyway. Okay, fellas, have a great evening, and hopefully I will see you tomorrow. Take care.